Well, as you guys can see, my presentation today is we need to change our diet. Towards the end of high school and the beginning of college, I was like, you know what, it's just a little weight. I'm gonna start eating. I was taking care of myself, sort of, in high school. I weighed about 180, which is what I'm supposed to weigh. But then what happened is I started, the freshman 15 thing. I kind of took that out of proportion and made it a lot of weight. I went from 180 to 230 pounds.
Ooh.
So I kept eating and eating. Well, I finally got the job of Pizza Hut, so I was like, you know what, more pizza, food, and then I got money for tips. So then with that tip money, I would go out and eat because it was like, oh, I have a car now, I'm gonna go eat wherever I wanna eat. But unfortunately, that's not what you're supposed to do. So then I thought to myself, you know what, I'm gaining too much weight, it's going out of control. I need to change my diet. So I started doing some research, and I'm going to show you what I researched today. This is kids who are severely overweight that their parents do not take care of the weight and watch them what they eat. That's kids. This is teenagers. Unfortunately, I was starting to look like that. I was getting big, no lies. But my height, you covered it pretty decently, but I still started gaining more weight. And adults. The cruel reality is at least half of Americans are going towards that direction because of fast food and what there is. Back in the days in the 60s, you wouldn't see supersize and mega double cheeseburgers with bacon and everything. So now this is where we're headed. This is completely outrageous. We're potentially the first generation that will not outlive our parents due to the high fast food, the bad calories and everything that's being given to us. The meats aren't healthy no more, the chicken's not healthy, even milk and dairy is not healthy. More than a third of North Carolina's children are overweight. Can you imagine? North Carolina is not like that small of a state, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of children there, so for a third of them to be overweight, that is insane. The average 10-year-old in the United States weighs about 10 pounds more than the average child in the 60s. Mr. Peterson here, were you around in the 60s?
63.
63? You see, he was good, and then we're over here now these days, and we're 10 pounds more than he would have been. We need to get healthy. The past 20 years, obesity rate for children has doubled, and it's worse for teenagers. It's 3 times more teenagers are obese nowadays. Can you imagine that, walking down in high school and even being bullied, because this stuff leads to bullying. Kids that are bitter and actually work out and stuff are bullying other children and making them feel bad, which makes them eat more and get even more obese. And nowadays, back in the day, we were all children of the 90s, so we all know, you know what, let's go out and play, let's go play outside, play some soccer, football, everything. But then the 2000s hit, and the children from the 2000s, video games, Xboxes, PlayStation 3s, PlayStation 2s, and no more outside, just eating and sitting down. 2/3 of adults are now obese or overweight. It costs the nation about $100 billion annually for medical costs. And by 2030, it will cost the nation about $1 trillion annually to treat obesity. This all leads to diabetes, strokes, and cancers. Can you imagine that the way you eat actually leads to these things? If you drop at least how many of you guys go to fast food restaurants daily? How many times a week? How many times a week, the average, you guys go to fast food restaurants?
Once.
Once? Four? Okay, once.
I have a mama. I gotta be going down to eat.
Okay. Statistics. 31.9% of children in the United States are overweight. We are right here. We are the leading overweight country in the world. Malta is close by, but this is BMI. We're supposed to, about a good average for my height would be about 20 something, but right now they're averaging above like 25, 26 BMI. Why are we heading in the wrong direction? Our lifestyle, like I was saying earlier, we don't go out and play anymore. We don't go out and work out. We go play video games and Modern Warfare 3 and Call of Duty Black Ops and sports games instead of actually going out and playing. So we're driving and not walking. How many of you guys are like, oh, let's go to McDonald's that's across the street. Hey, let's go get the car instead of actually walking to McDonald's. I actually remember the other day, I have my stepbrother. My stepbrother's actually overweight, obese, and I was with my friends at a bowling alley, and I was like, hey, let's go to Target that's across the street. And he's like, oh, let's get the car. And I'm like, it's across the street. And he's like, it's too far. And I'm like, okay then. And then cheap foods, huge portions. Double patty burgers with 1,000 calories and 64-ounce drinks is basically something that you can get anywhere. Carl's Jr., Jack in the Box, McDonald's, Power Size, from Baker's. All this leads to obesity. We must change these things. If we even let go of soda, we can lose a weight. There was a research done that letting go of soda completely will drop you 30 pounds as long as you maintain a healthy diet. Drink more water. If your children asks or anybody asks, you know what? Give them water instead of soda. Reduce fast foods. If you go 4 times a week, like Mr. Peterson, go 3 times a week. Go 2 times, start cutting down until you don't go to fast food. Like Claire said, drink green tea. Green tea is good for losing weight and keeping healthy. Like Raphael said, no soda. Eat at home. Try to get some healthy food. Some of us have lived those fast-paced lives where you don't have time to go home and cook. That's what causes our childhood obesity or teenage obesity, and even adults, because you're like, why, if I can spend $5 on a huge meal, why would I waste $20 at the market to make a smaller, simpler meal? And actually go work out. Sometimes you don't even have to do insane workouts. Just walk for an hour, and that helps you. But this is very difficult, but like Frederick Douglass said, if there's no struggle, there's no progress. So to finish this off, like I told you guys at the beginning of the presentation, I weighed 230 at the last semester. So what I decided to do after I saw all this and kind of freaked me out that I was going to die, because it leads to 300,000 deaths a year, obesity. So I decided to start working out and change my diet. I went from 230 pounds to 175 in about 2 months to 3 months. Working out 3 times a day. Just 3 times. I let go of soda, and that changed my life, and that can change your life. Just letting go a few fast foods here and there, and no soda, and let go of all those unhealthy things. Thank you very much.